Here's Brody Brazil.
Okay, welcome to my video on the state of sports in Las Vegas for 2023, where I realize a lot of you are going, wait, aren't you the Bay Area person? Aren't you the Oakland A's and San Jose Sharks host? Don't you have a conflict of interest here? Possibly, but in all reality, I'm trying to look at this from a very objective standpoint and consider what it's like in Las Vegas with the existing pro sports teams, how it might pan out and play out across a multitude of different sports in the next decade or so. It may not be what you exactly think about Las Vegas pro sports here and now, or even in the upcoming years. Let's first begin with the teams and the leagues that are now playing. The Golden Knights were first in, and the NHL had so much success down there. A team that was unfortunately banded together right after that horrible tragedy of the concert shooting. And then they go to the Stanley Cup playoffs and the final in their very first season of existence. So they had a lot of connection and sentimental aspect and coming together. And they are very much ingrained in Las Vegas because of how they launched and the situations behind it, but also ultimately the success that they've had for a lot of their first handful of years and that they were first in. They were the first pro sports team of one of the major leagues to exist and to thrive. And then the Raiders came in. Now, this is a different story. The NFL is a once-a-week sport. Obviously, they draw from across the region, but even across the country. It's weird, though, because even the Raiders are not entirely selling out Allegiant Stadium. Granted, 1 year was the pandemic. They're still recovering in a variety of different ways, but kind of amazing that a team like that is not a literal slam dunk 100% plus attendance, and they have definitely not been. But it's also a different beast, right? It's the NFL that moved into town second. Both those teams have venues that are right close to the Strip, very conducive to visiting Las Vegas. The airport's also right there, hotel rooms. I mean, it couldn't be any easier to travel into Las Vegas and to go see a hockey game or an NFL game these days. There's also the Las Vegas Aces. They're relatively new. They're a WNBA team. So those first three make up the professional level sports right now. Then you have minor league baseball's Aviators. They, of course, are partners with the Oakland A's. There are the Silver Knights of the American Hockey League, clear partners of the Golden Knights. They play in Henderson, technically not Las Vegas proper. And then there's the Lights FC, which I believe is the minor league MLS affiliate. They're the USL team of the LA Galaxy. So that is their affiliation. So 3 real pro teams, 3 minor league level teams. Those are the ones that are now playing, but everybody's talking about what's in discussion for Las Vegas. And this one's been going on since the early 2000s when the Sacramento Kings were rumored to be relocating to Las Vegas, and fortunately, they did not. But the NBA conversation has been going around probably the longest for Las Vegas, since what I think is around the early 2000s. Major League Baseball has only really been discussed like reasonably in the last 5 years. I know they talked a long time ago about bringing the Expos out there, but the market wasn't big enough, and baseball, it just all kind of got washed away. But, in the last 5 years, baseball's definitely been more of a conversation. And then MLS has actually been a discussion since the late 2000s. They tried to get some entirely public-funded stadium projects put together in the late 2000s, and the city and the county just never went for it. The public never went for it. So that one has been delayed and pushed back a number of times, including even recently. There was an ownership group that was poised to bring MLS to Las Vegas, and it was just simply too difficult. And that is kind of a theme here, which we will get into later in the video. Is it as easy as you think to bring a pro sports team to Las Vegas these days? I mean, everybody's interested in it, but actually doing it might be tougher than it seems. Here's what we do know about Las Vegas. In my opinion, there's no question it can host professional sports teams and franchises and obviously be part of leagues. That was not a certainty 10 years ago. Heck, even 7 years ago, before the Las Vegas Golden Knights were in town. There was some question about population and support and how much tourism would you rely on. That was always in question. And the other big concern was conflicts with gambling. Like, that was always the excuse when I'm a kid growing up. Why is there not a pro sports team here? Well, there's a problem with sports gambling. There's no way they could have that type of proximity to a place where bets are happening. Well, you know what? Now with technology, doesn't matter what corner of the world you're on, so we can wipe that away. So it's good to see two things have been established here. Las Vegas can do it. They've proven that, at least for here and now. There's also some concerns about sustainability and longevity in just a second. But they can definitely do it. And any worry about, big gambling problems and point shaving stuff, I mean, it's probably no greater of a concern in Las Vegas than it is in the middle of Kansas or New Jersey or Florida or the state of Maine. You understand, like, you can be anywhere these days with technology. There's also what we know to be now a built-in draw. People love to come from all corners of the continent and even the world to come to Las Vegas to see their team as the road team. Again, because it's so easy, because there's also a built-in vacation as part of it. Like, you're going to Las Vegas to do a bunch of things and see your team. And generally speaking, with the exception of the middle of the summer when it's scorching hot, it's always kind of a break from what other type of cold weather situations the country and the continent might be experiencing. But here's what we do not know about Las Vegas. We do not know these things. I think some people take this stuff for granted, but it has yet to be proven over a long period of time. Could a stadium in Las Vegas exist in the suburbs? And I'm not talking about where the Aviators play in Summerlin out west of the city. And they draw pretty well out there. Let's be very transparent. They're one of the best drawing minor league teams. They consistently get close to the 10,000 mark a game, which is their capacity. But they're also relatively new. Like, minor league baseball isn't new there, but that team and that stadium, more of an instant draw right now. And there are some amenities out there in Summerlin. It's not entirely isolated. But could a Major League Baseball team build their facility in Summerlin and be successful with it? Could a Major League Baseball team go to Henderson? Could an NBA team go to Henderson? Or, why did the Raiders, why is Allegiant Stadium right off the strip? Why is T-Mobile Arena right off the strip? They know where they kind of have to be when you come to Las Vegas. It's where it's going to succeed, where it's going to thrive the most. We also don't know sustainability over the decades. Let's remember here, let's slow our roll. What's happened to the Golden Knights is quite uncharacteristic for any pro sports team. That they go all the way to the championship round of their league in the playoffs, their very first year of existence. That they make the playoffs, was it 5 straight years in a row before they miss it for the first time? That just rarely ever happens in professional sports. They are a unique story. And then there's also the Raiders, which, like I said, if they're already having trouble drawing with attendance, and I know that they're not, the highest team with highest aspirations in terms of winning a Super Bowl this year or whatever, but it's still the NFL. It's still in Las Vegas. It's something that's brand new and exciting. What happens when all of that wears off? What happens when they've been there for 15 years and they might be a really bad team? I know it's the NFL. It should always draw okay. But what's that going to be like? How can they sustain? How can the other teams, the hockey teams, the basketball team, the baseball team, how will they sustain revenue-wise? How will they sustain ratings-wise? Not just attendance, but also in terms of consumption on television, cable, streaming, whatever. And then we also don't know market size. Like, is it really an issue? Las Vegas is 25th in the United States in terms of total population. And when you look at this list, which I'm not going to put on the screen, everywhere above it, you're like, oh, they've all got pro sports teams. Everywhere below it, there's a couple. There's like the Milwaukees and the Indianapolises, but it's not like they're not multi-team, multi-sport, multi-league cities. They are really on that cusp of everything above them, a multi-sport pro town. Everything below them, it's just like some of them don't even, like Fresno's on the list. There's some Central California cities. There's some spots that you're like, yeah, I don't think a team would ever do well there. And they're not much further down the list than where Las Vegas is. So check that out when you get a chance. But is that an issue over the long term? I mean, they're just definitely right on the cusp of being a multi-team town. So the state of 2023 for Las Vegas professional sports, I mean, they've already built 2 brand new venues within the last 6 years. Allegiant Stadium, huge, good proximity, location, technology, it is what it is. And then T-Mobile Arena, built in a perfect spot, like a block or 2 off the strip. So 2 brand new venues within the last 6 years. Here's what's crazy to me. I understand that a baseball team would need, its own brand new home in Las Vegas. Clearly, I'm seeing this from the A's perspective and A's side of it. They've done their research down there. They would need somewhere probably in a dome, right? So they'd need a special facility. But the NBA also, an NBA team would also be wanting to build a totally separate building. Why would we do that? Why would that ever happen? I mean, even in Los Angeles for years, the former Staples, now Crypto.com arena, they had 3 teams playing there. They were very efficient. It does seem a bit wasteful to have a football stadium, a baseball stadium, a basketball stadium, an arena, and a hockey arena. 4 of them? You would need. They want to go from having none of these to 4 of them in like 10 years. So it's kind of crazy. And as you think about, the NBA team and the baseball team that are still trying to get into Las Vegas, don't you understand that the competition for land and partnerships and resources, it's only going to get a lot more difficult as time goes on here. The football team and the hockey team were the first 2 in. So now all of a sudden, people are realizing, professional sports works here. That 50 acres of land I own, I'm pretty sure a baseball team would want to buy that. Or the basketball arena / resort complex, they would want to take my land and put this right here, within 2 miles of the airport and the strip. So competition for actually getting it done, that's one of my points here. Is there enough land in Las Vegas to host all these brand new venues that they're trying to build? Because let's be honest, when you think of Las Vegas, there's a lot of desert way out there. But where you need to be is very metropolitan, right? It's competition. It's crowded. It's a crowded landscape to try and get into Las Vegas, despite however much they might help you with tax breaks and this and that. Like, it's not easy to get in down there. And obviously, every league has shown a recent interest that they want to be there. Like, the NBA knows that they obviously screwed up in Seattle years ago. They've admitted to that. So they would probably love to expand there. And if they're going to do it once, they might want to also put a team in Las Vegas at the very same time. And obviously, baseball, they've talked about this forever. As soon as the A's and Rays get settled, I guarantee you, Nashville's one of them. Is Las Vegas the other one of them? So the leagues are very transparent. Like, of course we're interested in this, but what's the reality that could actually make it happen? So my disclaimer again, not a Las Vegas person, but I've obviously got a vested interest in, we saw the Raiders go from Oakland to Las Vegas. Now the A's are having these conversations. It's just an interesting study how, that town has gone from boxing only and other alternative sports only to now we're getting into the major pro sports. And it's going from a 1 pro sports team town to 2, and now they want to make it 3 and 4. And it's not a New York or a Los Angeles or a Denver or a Bay Area or even a Seattle. It's a totally different beast. So there are some things we know about it. Again, in this video, hopefully there are some things established we don't know about it. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below. Subscribe to this channel and thumbs up on this video if you actually liked it.